Oh, hey, because we didn't know that we were being recorded. Oh, so this is episode 2 today. This is actually kind of funny. Like I normally only do one a week, but there were so many things that came out this week that I split it between
Yeah.
two people. This is battle of the red-haired folks. My friend Pat was on earlier. He's red bearded, and I told him that you were gonna rock the red hair in the second half. So, well, this is my guest, Jenn. Jenn, I gave you the other three movies this week, and I don't know that there was like a fun or better order to do them. Um, Weirdly, I think you might really have liked one of the other ones that I talked about with Pat, and I'll even tell you about that one after. But I think we had what did we have to start? I think we had Big George Foreman. I think was number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I sent you three trailers. One of them was Big George. What did you think that one was about? I mean, like this one might be cheating a little bit because it's like a biopic, so we kind of know like what happens with this guy's life, but
So I didn't
okay.
because when I went to the video and I saw
Mhm.
the title first before anything, I was
Mhm.
like, "Isn't that a grill?"
Yes.
So because that's I and then watching it, I didn't know it was actually like a boxer. So that
Hmm.
was I learned something already just from the trailer about history.
Right. Yeah. Um. So like George Foreman, I also knew was a boxer, but yeah, obviously the grill kind of like based on like when we're growing up and stuff like that is more a little more prominent. We're seeing him at the back end of his career. And I mean, were there any other things that you picked up on like from that trailer about, like his life? Because I mean, I learned stuff too. I didn't know that he was a preacher or like big into religion.
No,
Oh, yeah.
no, I didn't know he was a boxer and then like finds God and is a preacher and then goes back
Mhm.
to it. I didn't know, and then a grill. I like that's what a life.
Yeah, right. And really like he did all the stuff with boxing and didn't really make, he made money but lost money, but then he's like being sustained now by like this little thing. I don't even know if it's still a thing now. I don't know if people are still buying George Foreman grills, but so
No, I don't know anyone that has one. But I
no.
actually Googled George Foreman grill because I wanted to be sure that I was like thinking of the same guy.
Yeah.
And there's like this really white, like high tech, expensive George Foreman grill. So they're still making them. I just don't know
Okay.
anyone who still uses them.
Yeah. Probably the people that were already grown up that were buying them 20 years ago when they first came out.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to support the
Um,
boxer too.
right. So what did you think, like where do you think that film goes just based on like what it shows you?
So definitely starts out his life kind of growing up with not a lot of money and it's hard and he finds I imagine that he grew up with a lot of anger too and the gym and boxing was like a good outlet for that and
Hmm.
then he was able to make some money off of it which helped and then he has like a near death experience and like has a reawakening and finds God again and becomes a preacher and leaves that dangerous life behind. And then obviously money becomes an issue again, so he gets right back into the ring
Hmm.
and then he gets a grill deal out of it, and that's what I gleaned from all that.
See, you're perfect for this. You're natural. You were like, oh no, I don't know things. You're totally great at this.
Or maybe it's
Um,
kind of a shitty trailer giving away the whole movie.
Again, the biopic ones are hard because like when they're based on real people, it's like,
Not a
how
secret.
many secrets are there? And if you if you get around to watching the movie, there are things that like, you're only gonna learn from watching it because like people didn't like hold my micro, magnifying glasses up to the guy's life. There's some twists and turns, but you definitely hit all the big points. He was a boxer, grew up poor, um, maybe had made some poor choices in life. It was really more like he went into like a thing called Job Corps, where like you're trying to like better yourself, get a job, send money back home, and like while there, even still, he was like had like the anger basically, and somebody was like, whoa, 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 you can throw a punch. You know what you're doing. Maybe we should like channel
Channel
this.
that.
Exactly. And they definitely like hit up like a lot of montages. Like there was you'd be at like one moment where somebody'd be like, man, it would take some crazy amount of training for you to be in like the Olympics, the boxing for the Olympics. And then it's like 2 years later, and it's like him right there being in the boxing for the Olympics. Like, okay, well, but fuck us for not thinking that you could do it. Do you think, given like how accurately you pinpointed that movie, was it something you would see?
I don't normally go for biopics. And when I do, they're usually like something kind of obscure. Like I was watching a show called Clark on Netflix that's about the guy who like robbed banks and like is the reason Stockholm syndrome thing. That was really weird. So I don't normally watch those, but it does have Forrest Whitaker in it, and I love him. So that might be reason enough to watch it. Maybe if it was like on streaming, maybe not in theaters.
This is true. This is like the major like convincing these days if it's on streaming. So what other, for the audience, what other movies do you usually go in for?
I like horror usually, psychological horror, like really big mind fucks. Superhero movies, obviously. Yeah, so those are like my mainstays, and then comedies, but like not a lot of comedies these days aren't good anymore. So I haven't watched a good one of those in a while.
I think number 2 on the list of things that I gave you the trailers for today might make up for that if you get around to watching that one. We'll put a pin in that for a second though. So okay. horror and mindfucks. There was a movie that came out this week that I didn't give you the trailer for. It's just kind of how the order of them worked out. It's called Beau is Afraid. It's done by the same people that did Midsommar, and
Hereditary.
Hereditary, yes. Ari Aster.
Ooh.
Yo, you want a mind fuck? That one you need to watch. It's Joaquin Phoenix. Okay, that should already sell you.
Perfect.
And this whole movie is just like a major like what the fuck is going on moment. Except for it's kind of long, but you almost don't notice it. It's very like Alice in Wonderlandy. He keeps going around through different things with this like kind of narrow focus about something he's trying to get done, but like all these other crazy things are happening on the screen, and you're never quite sure what's real. At no point do they clarify for you.
Like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, we did not get it locally, which is really sad. Marquee has the poster up for it and everything, but when asked, they will tell you that they're not getting it.
So then I have a poster.
Yeah.
False advertisement.
A little bit. I don't know. Maybe Mario's doing way better than they thought it would, and they're just like, we're just gonna keep showing more Mario. I don't know.
But, what a shame.
What's it called again? Beau is Afraid.
Okay.
That's our honorable mention for today. Since you're a horror fan, that's one you should check out. Or check out the video before this one, and maybe me and Pat can convince you one way or the other. Number 2 was Polite Society.
Yes.
Polite Society. What does Polite Society look like it was about?
So I had to watch it a couple times because there's like a lot going on. So there's a girl who wants to be a stunt double, and she trains with her sister, and they're very close. But then her sister gets in with this guy that she thinks is skeevy. So, yep. And so she thinks he's suspicious, and his family's suspicious. And so she finds they're like upper class society people, hoity-toity, and she sees like this table with pictures, almost like they've done this before, where there's like they bring girls in to marry one of their family members, and then something happens to these girls, and there's like weird labs and like researchy things that's kind of weird. And so she has this plan to save her sister from these people. And I did actually see this trailer before, just like a little snippet, because it was like in the first scene you see like a girl kicking ass, and I was like, oh, perfect, I'm gonna watch this. So she goes in, saves her sister and her kick ass, and go off into the sunset. I think that's how that movie goes.
All right. So Polite Society, it's definitely It's like a British action comedy. It's definitely like a Pakistani girl who wants to be, a stunt woman, like you said. Her sister, the whole family's Pakistani. It's like it's almost like Miss Marvel, except for the British version, because they get all the Muslim and Pakistani stuff down pat, can confirm. But yeah, the whole family, they get invited to a party, and basically the guy's like, oh man, I want to date your older sister, and like he like woos her, and I think all the pictures that they show you in the trailer are all the other girls that get invited to the same party, and it's like their perspective, like who are they gonna pick for this guy to like try to like woo and marry, and lo and behold, it's the protagonist's sister.
Yeah, sure.
There is some freaky sci-fi stuff, which I feel like would be spoilers to get into, but if the main character thinks he's sus, there's probably a reason, right? It's fun, it's cheeky, there's like action, there's comedy. It's definitely got that like Shaun of the Dead like wit, but how can I put this? It's just, it almost kind of felt like a comic book movie, but not like a superhero comic book movie, like an indie comic movie. They even like break up the movie into like little chapters, like chapter 1, the Undividable Sisters, and it's just like there's like they section off the movie, but she really tries hard to want to kick ass, and she takes a lot of hits to get there. The younger sister.
I noticed a little bit from the trailer, yeah.
Right.
But she does a good job, it looks like, in the end.
Yeah, it definitely feels real indie, though. It doesn't like get tied up in a nice little bow, but it has an ending, and you're kind of just like, huh, okay, yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was an experience.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, like, is that one seem like something that like you'd watch, or yay or nay, or
again, like I don't know enough about what's going on based on the trailer to really be invested in it, but like how the other one had Forrest Whitaker, this one has the girl from Umbrella Academy. So that's another reason to watch, because I really like her. So it usually, if it's not something I normally would watch, if it has at least one person that I like watching in other things, then I'll give it a shot.
I mean, she channels the same kind of vibes, so I think it would be worth the watch at some point. That one we did get, that is playing locally. If you end up being bored and want to go see something that's there, don't know how long stuff like that lasts if you're not a AAA title, but so. Number 3, I haven't heard you say anything about like, this was the one or this was the one, so I'm thinking maybe this was the one.
It was.
So are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Yeah. What's the feeling on this one? Because I'm guessing you either have some like prior knowledge of this, or just the trailer really got you.
Trailer really got me. Okay, so
okay.
I'm gonna guess. Gotta like sit up and use my hands for this. I'm gonna guess that it's about this mom and daughter who move away from their grandmother and kind of cut ties, and she starts a new school. And I didn't see a dad or a male father figure anywhere, so I'm guessing she's a single mom raising this daughter who's probably like 12, and she's coming into her womanhood. So I think it's more like a coming of age story for her, and how this relationship between mother and daughter and grandmother even is, and just kind of like women aging, but like different like life stages of a woman's life, from like tween to middle-aged woman to elderly woman, and just kind of seeing that whole spectrum. Or it's coming of age story, and I don't know how it would end, because those usually end kind of ambiguously. I mean, it's about someone's life, so it's not really a big ending, but I think that's what it's about.
Wow. You're pretty good at this. There's a dad. Dad's in the picture. I actually am not sure why they don't include him in the trailer. I kind of had the same feeling when I first saw the trailer myself, and then I was shocked that like dad's there prominently, and like he's not, they're all together, they're a happy family. It's definitely a coming of age story. It's done by a woman named Judy Bloom, and this story's been around for a really long time. I actually I got given the business by one of my coworkers about this, because he's just like, "Well, you're gonna go see this movie? I had to read this as a kid in school," and I'm like, "Really? Wow, okay." Um, it's it's about mom and dad gets a promotion, and mom, dad, and Margaret are moving out of New York City into like a Jersey suburb. So you're an 11-year-old going into like sixth grade here. You gotta lose all your friends. You gotta start fresh, and also the changing stuff, the body stuff. And none of that. They kind of hit all those beats as they're occurring, and I think that obviously this is going to resonate with women a lot more, for the person that's like, "Oh my God, I just got my period for the first time." And they're like
Oh yeah.
jealous with her and her friend group are like jealous over who's going to get it first, because I don't think they really understand what it is. They like, "Oh man, well, yeah, this totally makes me a woman." But then like the friend that is like pushing it hard on like, "Oh, who's going to get their period first?" like has a mental breakdown when she gets hers.
Oh yeah, totally.
Or like, "Hey, we have to be in a secret club, but you all have to wear bras." And it's like, all right, well, none of us have bras yet. And you put these girls to the awkward experience of going to go buy a bra. The
That they don't
lady
need.
the lady at the, you know, department store is like measuring you and like yelling in front of everybody, "Oh, you're not even an A." Cool. I'm sure that feels great. I can't
Yep.
personally relate, but I can empathize. Um, it's what the movie did that I really liked about it. It took a lot of lefts. Like when you expect a movie to be like tropey and do things that like other movies do, and then this one goes left and makes you feel uncomfortable, or makes you like hear and deal with the tough stuff, rather than like be like wash it over with like a really sappy moment or something. It's like, oh crap, you made this girl cry, and guess what, you have to kind of deal with that. You don't just get to like apologize and everything's better. Or hey, your parents and your grandparents and everybody are fighting in front of you over you for some reason. You gotta like, they were really powerful moments. I think it's I noticed in the audience when I saw this that there were a lot of like mom daughter like pairs seeing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, definitely, probably with Mother's Day coming up soon too, probably get a lot of people going to see that. Do you what was I gonna say? Do you think that's something that you would go see, especially considering you were kind of excited to talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So kind of like what you were saying, I think especially if like what you said, if it's something that takes more lefts and doesn't
Mhm.
like water down real life moments, because it's a coming of age story and
Mhm.
sometimes coming of age really sucks. So
Yeah.
having something that's like honest is really
Mhm.
important, because I remember being younger and we had coming of age stories, but some of them like really hit home. Like I remember My Girl. I love My Girl. Um,
Talking about Mario.
yes. So it's a good movie, but a lot of the coming of age stories didn't really touch on like serious topics of growing up. So if
Mhm.
that's something that doesn't shy away from the more serious things, more serious things, and it's fun, and it was just so funny watching the trailer, like literal snapshots of my life, like going to buy the feminine hygiene products, and you have to go get it, so you can't not leave without it. And there's just
Mhm.
a cute guy at the register, and you're like, oh shit, let's gum, perfect, put that on there, he'll never know I'm buying pads. It's so,
I
oh my
mean,
god.
is it even the cute guy part that's like the uncomfortable part, or like I feel like even anybody standing there, it's like, oh man, like you're the person I got to deal with like as I'm buying this thing. I'm like so awkward.
Yeah, well, no, it was better if it was.
A
You're
woman.
right. So just dudes in general, but yes, if it was a woman, it'd be like, oh, great, you
Mhm.
can relate. But a guy, it's
Mhm.
like I don't need him to know what's going on right now. Oh God, and the oh, it's embarrassing, but it's relatable. When they're all looking at this magazine of this really hot girl, and it's like, well, are we gonna ever look like that? I remember sitting with my friends at sleepovers and looking at
Really?
these pictures and being like, oh my God, like, why can't we look like that? And we were like 12, wanting to look like we were 20, which is another problem in itself.
Yeah.
But that's how it was. And we would
Mhm.
just be trying to make our boobs bigger just like they were and stuffing them and trying to do these exercises to make our chest bigger. It was so bad. But that's where
Um,
the trailer really got me.
there was a there. I think if I remember the trailer right, they don't. There's one scene that's even more extra at one point, like about Margaret and sort of like trying to figure out a way to be comfortable wearing this bra, and it's really funny, but probably like could go either way. Like if you're a woman, like she definitely like for some reason in their little club, the girls aren't allowed to wear socks, right? Don't know why.
Okay.
Don't understand the rationale there. Might be just some girl thing that I don't get. But um, at one point, she's looking at all the wadded up socks she has like on her bed or whatever because she's not allowed to wear socks. And then she's like looking at her bra and then the socks, and then the next minute, she's like running around the room like doing poses like with like a way um exaggerated chest. So yeah,
Comically large.
yeah, very like Madonna, but 1970. So
Mm-hmm.
um, definitely recommend. I mean, again, you don't have to be the person that's exactly fitting this mold to empathize with like weird things that you have to grow up with and deal with. I think as a whole, the movie was great. I don't know that everybody will go see it. It's tough because right now, like we're in that weird period where like all the blockbusters are starting to come out. So all these like other like I don't even want to call them niche, but like not blockbusters are gonna get like hidden. You're gonna transition from Mario to Guardians of the Galaxy and everything else around it's gonna kind of like
Yeah.
get lost. So and
That's why we're
or
talking about them now.
well right, and or the streaming thing. Um this stuff hits streaming way quicker now. One of the things I always try to do, and I mean, again, there's never any guarantees, but like I try to be honest with people. Um, all these movies that we talked about today were great. I don't believe that any of them are 100% like theater viewing required though. Nothing about them were like big screen like had any
Gotcha.
stuff with them that is going to be diminished by seeing it on a small screen. I
Mm-hmm.
hate saying that because I love pushing people towards the theater, but we got to be honest in these streaming times. So, well, I'm glad that you're interested in some or all of them. Hopefully, the audience will agree with your opinions. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I've got a list of people, but eventually I'm gonna circle back, and when I do, I'm gonna hit you up again.
Okay, please do. This was fun.
Right? Thank my guest, everybody. This is Jennifer. Be still our hearts. We'll catch you guys next time on Movies in Minutes. Mm.